So, today we're going to dive into two incredible novels that treat the human soul like a piece of architecture. One of them builds this huge, impossible house out of unspoken grief. The other, it does the exact opposite. It takes a person apart, piece by piece, trying to find what's left at the very core. Let's get into the architecture of absence.
What an opening line, right? With just that one sentence, we're pulled right into the world of the Library of Unfinished Mournings. And it tells us everything we need to know. Some things, like sorrow, they're not just feelings. They have weight, they have volume. We're not just stepping into a house, we're stepping into a mystery that's been unfolding for 7 generations.
All right, so the first novel introduces us to this place, the House of Insúa. And this is a place where loss isn't just an emotion, it's a construction project. This home is built from the ground up as a living catalog of everything and everyone that's missing. Here's the novel's absolutely radical idea. Grief is literally a building material, you know? Every sad story that doesn't get told, every memory you try to bury, it doesn't just vanish. It hardens. It becomes a real, physical brick in the wall, or a whole new, impossible room that just appears in the house. Yeah, this house isn't just sitting there. It's alive. It is constantly changing itself based on the family's secrets. Think about it. Hallways actually shrink over the years, doors will lead to completely different places after midnight, and the library, which is really the heart of this whole thing, it just grows and grows, its shelves literally pushing their way through solid stone. The book has this amazing phrase for it, architectural conjugations of sadness. It's like pain has its own grammar. So there it is, a direct and honestly pretty chilling connection. The more the family refuses to talk about their pain, the bigger and more chaotic their house gets. It's a literal 3-dimensional map of their silence. But here's the thing. The house doesn't just grow randomly. No, it follows this strange, surreal logic. It's like a kind of mathematics of memory loss, where every time you forget something, it has a real, measurable effect on the space around you. This quote just nails it. And get this, it's from a letter the main character receives from his future self. It pretty much says that the normal rules don't apply here. Cause and effect? They're more like suggestions. Characters can talk to each other across their own timelines because grief, just like this house, doesn't really care about the past, present, or future. It's all happening at once. At the very heart of this impossible place is something called the catalog. But it's not a book. It's an endless room filled with plaques, and it indexes every single absence. We're talking rooms for children who were never even conceived, hallways that were never built. It's the ultimate library of loss. And of course, the novel makes you turn that question on yourself. It forces you to wonder, if our own unspoken truths took physical form, what kind of impossible, strange house would we all be living in? Okay, so we've had this story of infinite mournful expansion. Now, we're going to pivot to its complete opposite. The Arithmetic of Unbecoming isn't about building anything. It's about dismantling. It's a story all about subtraction. And here we meet Vera. Her world isn't some sprawling, magical house. It's a stark, white, clinical room. She tried to erase herself, and it didn't work. So now, she's trapped with the remainder of her own life. Her initial goal is just this, 0. Absolute 0. She wants to subtract every memory, every preference, every single piece of who she is until there's nothing left. For her, life isn't a story to be lived. It's a math problem that needs to be solved. This brings us to the core idea of this second novel. Here, the self isn't a story, it's an equation. And Vera has spent years doing this brutal, painful arithmetic on herself, trying over and over again to get to that clean, final answer of 0. But Vera's journey leads her to a really critical realization. She's been solving for the wrong variable this whole time. She discovers that 0 isn't the final answer. It's just another number on an infinite line. And this is her breakthrough moment. She realizes the true opposite of subtraction isn't addition. It's not about trying to put the pieces back together. It's integration. The goal isn't to remove herself from the whole, but to finally see that she was always part of a much bigger, interconnected pattern. I mean, this quote just says it all. This is the huge shift in how she sees everything. Her deepest desire wasn't for oblivion, for nothingness. It was to stop being so painfully isolated. She wasn't trying to disappear. She was trying to belong. So we have these two stories that seem like complete opposites. One is about building, the other is about subtracting. So how do they connect? Well, the key is what's left over when the equation is finally solved or when the story is finally told. This one word, remainder, is the thread that ties both of these stories together. It's the part that just refuses to fit neatly into the math problem. It's the little piece that insists on its own reality, no matter what.
And as the author's notes actually explain, these two novels are meant to be a kind of fusion, but also the friction that comes with it. Bokoma's sprawling architectural story is the main part, but Esameraz's cold clinical story, that is the remainder. It's the part that couldn't be merged, the part that had to have its own different voice.
And that brings us to the big takeaway. These two novels, they aren't actually in opposition. They're two sides of the same coin. They are two totally valid ways of responding to loss and searching for meaning. One builds an endless library out of grief. The other finds an entire universe in the single tiny part of the self that just refuses to disappear.
And then, at the very end, the novels turn this definition back on us, the readers. They suggest that maybe all of us, maybe we are the remainder. The part of the story that doesn't quite fit, the piece that refuses to resolve, the part that insists, against all logic and arithmetic, on our own unique existence. What do you think about that?